Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're opening the door on a piece of tech that's so common, we barely even notice it's there, but its story is absolutely incredible. It's one of ancient ingenuity, huge scientific breakthroughs, and a revolution that changed how we eat and live forever. So let's just dive right in. If I asked you to name the most revolutionary thing in your kitchen, what comes to mind? The microwave, maybe? That new air fryer everyone's talking about? Or maybe that fancy coffee machine you just can't live without? Well, the answer is probably the one that's just quietly humming away in the corner. Yep, I'm talking about the humble, hardworking, and completely world-changing refrigerator. To really get why this thing is such a big deal, we have to kind of step back in time. Try to imagine a world without one, a world where just keeping your food from going bad was this constant daily battle. I mean, just look at this comparison. It really tells the whole story. In the then column, you had things like ice boxes that you had to constantly refill with huge blocks of ice. You were going shopping for food almost every single day, and preserving food meant caking it in salt or smoking it. Now, look at the now column. Self-contained refrigerators, weekly grocery runs, and an entire world of fresh and frozen food right at our fingertips. The amount of labor this one invention has saved us is just mind-boggling. But, this desire to keep things cold goes back thousands of years. This is a perfect example. Ancient Persians built these incredible structures called yakshals. And get this, they used this brilliant design to literally make and store ice in the middle of the desert. So yeah, the quest for cool is definitely nothing new. So how did we get from ancient desert ice houses to the electric box that's sitting in your kitchen right now? Well, it wasn't one single eureka moment. It was more like a scientific marathon, a race between inventors that stretched over 150 years, with each one building on what the last one discovered. This timeline really shows how all the pieces came together step by step. It really just started as a cool science demonstration back in 1755, but the first working machine didn't show up until 1834 thanks to a guy named Jacob Perkins. And from there, you can see how other people tweaked it and made it better for commercial use. Until finally, in 1913, Fred W. Wolf invented the Domo Ray, the very first electric refrigerator that was actually designed for a person's home. But hey, just because it was invented didn't mean you could just go out and buy one. The first home models were, well, they were unbelievably expensive. To put that price tag into perspective, look at this. In 1922, a fridge would set you back $714. At the exact same time, a brand new Ford Model T car was only about $476. You could buy a car and still have cash left over. Refrigerators weren't just an appliance. They were the absolute ultimate luxury item. So, eventually, prices came down, and this crazy luxury item became a household staple. But have you ever actually wondered how the thing works? It's not magic. It's just a really, really clever application of physics. This is the secret sauce, the vapor compression cycle. It's the engine that powers every single fridge. So let's walk through it. Number one, a special fluid called a refrigerant gets compressed, and that makes it a hot, high-pressure vapor. Two, that hot vapor travels through those coils on the back of your fridge. It cools down and turns into a liquid. Three, that liquid gets forced through a super tiny valve, which causes its pressure to just plummet. And four, this now super cold liquid evaporates inside the fridge's coils, and in the process, it sucks up heat from all your food. Then the whole cycle just starts right back up again. So the key thing to remember from all that science is this. Your fridge doesn't actually create cold. It's really just a heat pump. The best way to think about it is like a tiny courier who is constantly grabbing heat from inside your fridge and just dumping it out into your kitchen. That's the whole trick. And that's exactly why the back of your fridge always feels warm. So once this technology became affordable and everybody had one, it didn't just change kitchens, it changed society itself. This was a true revolution in daily life. I mean, just think about the incredible domino effect. Suddenly, you could store perishable foods like meat and milk for way longer. That directly led to the rise of supermarkets, right? Because now you could buy food in bulk. Our diets were transformed. You could get fresh produce any time of year. Frozen foods went from being this expensive luxury to something everybody had in their freezer. It pretty much single-handedly killed the old ice trade, and it allowed families to keep food fresh for longer than ever before in human history. And if you want to know just how deeply it changed our lives, well, this slide says it all. In the United States, an estimated 99.5% of households have a refrigerator. In less than 100 years, it went from an extreme luxury to something we consider an absolute necessity. But the story isn't over, not by a long shot. Today, the whole focus has shifted to making refrigerators way more energy efficient and better for the environment, trying to tackle some of the unintended consequences of their own success. You see, the chemicals that make all this cooling happen have kind of a complicated past. The really early ones could actually be toxic. Then came Freon, which made them safe enough for home use. But decades later, we discovered that those chemicals, CFCs, were destroying the Earth's ozone layer, so they were banned. The replacements we use now are safer for the ozone, but it turns out they're potent greenhouse gases. So the search for that perfect eco-friendly refrigerant is still on. The refrigerator was, without a doubt, a defining invention of the 20th century. It completely reshaped our world in ways its inventors could have never even imagined. And it really makes you wonder, as we face new challenges with energy and the climate, what will the next revolution in food preservation look like? That's all for this explainer. Thanks for tuning in.